Welcome to Tuesday, May 27, 2025. This DayWeather podcast brought to you by ConverseCountyTourism.com. Feel the energy at Converse County. Explore Douglas's Railroad Heritage, Ayers Natural Bridge, and the Jackalope Legend. Glen Rock boasts scenic trails, dinosaur history, and small town charm. Plan your visit at ConverseCountyTourism.com. No, that's not snow, as Tom's showing us here from Gillette. That's cotton from the cottonwood trees. Some of you have already experienced the cotton showers in your yard. Some of you just starting to feel it now, a real sign of a more mature spring pattern. And it will feel a little bit warmer after, for some of you, it was a very cool, cloudy, dreary weekend. For some of you, it was pretty nice, just depending on where you were. Now, what we're going to see will be a daily chance of what I call garden variety showers and thunderstorms. We're going to have moisture backed up against the Rockies, getting along in west of the divide and east of the divide. And with daytime heating, you're just going to get showers and thunderstorms. They're going to pop up. So some days you'll get hit by these storms. Some days you won't. One day it'll be overhead. The next day you'll see them in the distance. It'll be that kind of pattern. We do see the pattern staying quite active, not quick active, typo there, but quite active with another trough of low pressure moving into the west. So speaking of the west, we have photos from all around the region from this past weekend from the Memorial Day, a nice Memorial Day photo there from a service. And you can see there in the Lander area, they're standing in some nice green grass, nice blue sky there in the background. Then you had this. So here's a real contrast. This is just how it went over the Memorial Day weekend. If you're west of the divide or near the divide, it was more like that. And it was more like this if you were along the Front Range, the I-25 corridor. You can see here on the Interstate 87 between Laramie and Cheyenne. Had some pretty good cloud and thunderstorm build up. Once the sun came out, it didn't take long for showers and thunderstorms to get going all across the region. So it was really a tale of two divides in terms of what you experienced over the last 3 days. Now, later this week, we're going to show you some rain totals. The rainfall was very good, very, very good, and very badly needed for parts of Nebraska, Wyoming, and Colorado, and parts of the region over the last 3 or 4 days. Beautiful shot there, the flat tops, still plenty of snow up there, and the aspen starting to come out depending on the elevation. And across central Colorado, kind of in between where the drier air and the moisture was, you got showers, as you would expect. A little bit of sun, a shower, a little bit of sun, a shower. And then further west, you can see that where the moisture was a little bit harder to come by, well, a lot more in the way of blue skies. But also, beautiful shot there between Laramie and Cheyenne when the sun came out, but it didn't take long for the clouds to build. And actually, if you squint after some weekend rain, you might actually see a little bit of green there in the prairie east of Cheyenne after it finally rained in the drought hole. And again, we'll have more on that later this week. Lots of high and mid-level clouds, low-level clouds, the clouds coming in sheets there across Utah. Beautiful shot there of a thunderhead in Platte County. Platte County, a big winner in rain since late last week. Now we have a good time lapse here from Jan Curtis again of the thunderstorms building yesterday afternoon. Sun came out, then we had a little wave come through, then a line of thunderstorms developed across southeastern Wyoming and northern Colorado, and that did leave behind some hail all the way down into Colorado Springs. Not big hail, thankfully, but sometimes that little hail kind of chews things up more than the big hail does. Beautiful shot from Yellowstone National Park of the Green Valley, the bison there, and the dark clouds and the showers. Boy, just really classic late springtime across the region from the Black Hills of South Dakota, from Yellowstone Park, and then our first picture from Maine, Acadia National Park. That's the area that the northeastern United States has been stormy, and as we told you last week, at times snowy. So it's kind of a slow roll out of spring and into summer, and I think you're going to see that when we take a look at the forecast here over the next 7 days. Beautiful shot there from the upper Platte Valley in Saratoga. The morning sun, then the heating, the daytime clouds. Along the Bighorns, nice green and lush. The cottonwoods coming out in full force as we look at that photo there. Another movie here to show you, this one from eastern Idaho. This is a nice panoramic of the snow-capped mountains, the greening of the valleys, and along the river there, the willows and Everything else just really starting to come on out. So it can be a really, really fun time of year if you're a weather watcher. The high pressure that's building, you can see along the west coast here. And just like what we showed you late last week, for those of you who are observant and watch these satellite photos closely, what do you see here out on the eastern plains? Well, there's that higher humidity air, some low clouds. It's still there. It's certainly a little bit more to the east. But with that moisture around, daytime heating, that's going to funnel some showers and thunderstorms. So here's the upper level low that on Friday was back here. It's taken that long to travel. The counterclockwise rotation around the system will bring a couple of weather disturbances, and those weather disturbances, working with that daytime heating and that moisture right here, is what's going to fuel the shower and thunderstorm activity. Notice the main jet stream is riding further north now, but we talked about a dirty high pressure ridge, and that's just kind of what it is. It's dirty. There's nothing big, just little waves coming through, and with the longer days, the extra daytime heating, that just adds instability to the atmosphere. By Thursday, that trough is still in the western Corn Belt, but there's a little bit more high pressure now in the west. This low is going to hang off the Baja there for a couple of days. So if we go through the next 4 days, today through Friday, this is where the scattered shower and thunderstorm activity will be most numerous today. And you can see, we do see western slope shower and thunderstorm activity, getting a little bit more on the western side of things. Notice the thunderstorms are along the higher terrain, where the daytime heating and the terrain will add lift to the atmosphere. This will be tomorrow, and this will be for Thursday, and then as we get into Friday. So you can see through the 4-day period, they're all kind of in a similar situation, but some days are a little more east, some days are a little more west. That's why I tell you, one day you might get rained on, the next day you might not. But you put it all together, there's going to be more opportunity for measurable rain along the I-25 corridor again, out into the eastern plains. Heavier shower and thunderstorm activity in Kansas, Oklahoma, down there into Texas. But across the west, the interior west, the activity is certainly going to be more spotty. These are the 5-day temperature averages. So basically from today through Saturday, still relatively cool out on the plains, but the warmth here kind of going over the top and building. So temperatures are going to gradually get warmer. No one's going to really sizzle, but it is going to get pretty warm here in the central Great Basin and across parts of the southwestern United States while staying cool in the middle part of the nation. By the weekend, we do see a little bit more of an established high pressure ridge, not as dirty. So warmer weather, more like an early summer pattern for the last weekend of May into the first day of June. However, we have high pressure building up into the Gulf of Alaska. So these troughs right here are likely going to be forced inland next week. And this is what we talked about at the beginning, where June may end up starting a little bit more active. We may have an upper level low slide into the Great Basin right around the 3rd, 4th, 5th of June, and it may meander. It could be a slow meandering trough, keeping the west unstable again. And this is a wet pattern. This is a pattern that would make the western United States wet in many areas again as we get into the first week of June. So something that we'll keep an eye on. Have yourself a great Tuesday. See you tomorrow.